Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking the truly unique dynamics of the South Florida real estate market by taking a close look at the highly specialized approach of Mora Realty Hollywood. We're not just casually browsing property listings today, we are getting into the deep, localized strategy you actually need to make smart, profitable decisions in one of Florida's most dynamic coastal corridors. We're going to break down exactly how a specialized, local real estate practice operates completely differently from those big box generalist agencies you're probably used to, and why having that level of specialization is absolutely critical for your success. So let's kick things off with a fundamental question that honestly trips up countless buyers and investors when they first enter this region. What actually dictates a real estate deal in Hollywood, Florida? Look, it is incredibly easy to just pull up a map of South Florida, draw a circle around a city, and assume the entire market behaves exactly the same way. But let me tell you, assuming Hollywood operates on just one set of rules is a very, very expensive mistake. The reality on the ground is highly nuanced. It demands a much sharper, localized perspective to navigate it safely. To answer that question, here is today's agenda. Number 1, Hollywood's micro-neighborhood market. Number 2, integrated real estate services. Number 3, navigating commercial property deals. And number 4, direct, no gatekeeper communication. Let's dive in. Section 1, Hollywood's micro-neighborhood market. Block by block nuances. There is a profound contrast between generic regional trends and the hyper-local reality of Hollywood, Florida. When you're looking at macro market trends, you're essentially just getting generic data and broad regional strokes. Sure, those broad strokes might tell you what Broward County is doing on average, but true value, that is found in micro-neighborhood nuances. We're talking about the block-by-block shifts in zoning, HOA rules, and especially pricing that dictate actual value. A true local agent understands that the rules of the game change entirely depending on exactly where you're standing. These specific shifting variables across areas, particularly in places like the Hollywood Hills, can literally make or break a property's viability. Think about it. You've got strict parking ratios, specific hurricane code retrofits, incredibly complex HOA rules, and rental demand that shifts wildly from one block to the next. You might actually find that pricing on one street in the Hollywood Hills completely defies the comps just 2 blocks over, simply because of a slight zoning shift. It's a market of true micro neighborhoods. And honestly, if your agent doesn't know the exact block in the Hollywood Hills, you're flying blind. Moving on to Section 2, Integrated Real Estate Services, the holistic approach. You know, residential, rental, and commercial real estate aren't just isolated silos. They are actually complementary pieces of one holistic practice. Now, most traditional agencies will bounce you around between totally different departments or sometimes even entirely different companies depending on what you need, and you lose so much valuable context along the way. But Mora Realty Hollywood places residential, rental, and commercial pillars all under one unified roof. This integration creates this incredible level of convenience and a massive strategic advantage, allowing you to leverage data from the rental market to inform a commercial purchase, or use residential insights to understand neighborhood growth. Just picture a small business owner who's buying their very first storefront. More often than not, they also want to talk about the residential move that this commercial purchase is going to unlock for their family. Because Mora Realty is a full-service agency, you aren't forced to start from scratch with a brand new residential agent who has absolutely no idea what your financial picture looks like. Or say you're buying a mixed-use investment in the Hollywood Hills. You can instantly find out what those upper-floor residential units will actually rent for by tapping into their integrated rental market analysis. You get seamless, unified insights without the headache of juggling multiple agencies. Section 3, Navigating Commercial Property Deals. It's all about the math. Now, while residential deals are generally about lifestyle fit and emotional appeal, the slower-paced commercial market is entirely driven by the numbers. Commercial real estate in Hollywood is a highly deliberate process. You are no longer asking, oh, do I love the natural light in this kitchen? No, you're asking, does the long-term underwriting actually support my return targets? The emotional connection is completely stripped away, and the focus turns entirely to the analytical. And those small local details, like the micro-neighborhood shifts we just talked about, those are precisely what determine if a lease or an acquisition is actually going to work in the long run. To navigate this, Mora Realty runs a rigorous underwriting process for every single property candidate. They walk through the model until every single input is one you actually believe in. Step 1 is establishing realistic rent rolls. No inflated, pie-in-the-sky projections, just what comparable Hollywood rentals actually command today. Step 2 requires hard, realistic looks at CapEx, or capital expenditure assumptions, like factoring in the cost of those hurricane code retrofits we mentioned earlier. And Step 3 dials in the true, current financing costs. You are guided methodically through this model so there are absolutely zero surprises when you get to closing. So how do we keep from getting distracted by bad deals? Simple. By establishing a written scope on day one. A commercial engagement with Mora Realty starts right here. You sit down and define the asset type, the exact price band, your timeline, and your hard decision criteria. This written scope becomes the ultimate filter applied to every single listing and off-market lead that surfaces. It keeps the entire process incredibly disciplined. Investors are completely protected from market noise and get to focus only on viable, realistic property candidates that strictly meet their math.
Section 4. Direct. No gatekeeper communication. The ultimate difference. Listen, when a landlord needs an end-of-day decision, you simply cannot afford to be trapped in some automated phone tree or bounced around between junior assistants who don't even understand the nuances of your contract. In commercial and fast-moving residential markets, timing is absolutely everything. If you are trying to negotiate complex tenant improvement terms, or you need to get a lease redlined fast, layers of assistance don't just slow things down, they actively kill deals. The market can move slowly for good reasons, sure, but it should never, ever move slowly just because your broker is hard to reach. Every call and text comes straight to me, never through layers of assistance. This is a powerful promise. It means you are always dealing directly with the licensed professional who is handling the actual nuances of your transaction. This right here is the core philosophy of Mora Realty Hollywood. You always know exactly who is drafting the letter of intent, who is reviewing the estoppel, and who is coordinating with your counsel on the purchase agreement. It is an entirely one-on-one localized approach designed for absolute clarity and speed. 954-833-1371. That is the only direct line you need to call or text, whether you are buying, selling, renting, or investing in the South Broward corridor, particularly in the micro-neighborhoods of the Hollywood Hills. Again, 954-833-1371. There is no walk-in physical office you have to visit, and absolutely no gatekeepers to bypass. It is just a direct line straight to the licensed agent who will typically respond within one business day, and very often much sooner. It's real estate simplified and optimized for direct action and clear communication. You now understand what it takes to actually navigate this complex market. We've seen how having Hollywood Hills micro-neighborhood knowledge, integrated services, and rigorous math dictates your success. And when you combine all of that with a direct, zero gatekeeper approach, you gain a massive advantage over the competition. So as you sit back and look at your own real estate goals, ask yourself, are you working with someone who truly understands the block-by-block nuances of your target neighborhood? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.